Hi, this is Greg McCoach, editor of the Mining Speculator. We're here in Vancouver, Canada for the Metals Investor Forum in January. Today I'm interviewing Janet Lee Sheriff, CEO of Verdera Energy. Janet, always a pleasure. We've been doing these, we're doing these interviews. We're excited because the market has changed in our favor. And after 5 years of a rough market, we're finally seeing an unprecedented bull market and evolving here. So.
Great timing.
Yes, great timing. So Verdera Energy, a new situation. You're the CEO. Let's just give the foundation for why Verdera right now. I think it's really because these tech giants that need their data centers built, these data centers are going to require massive loads of base power that can't be met by the antiquated U.S. current power grid. It just can't happen. So, isn't it ironic that the green techies, are forced now to have nuclear power as the only option for them? And it's just an unprecedented opportunity, in my view, for uranium. Anybody in the uranium space that can provide that's needed to generate this power. And the new modular designs seem to be the way it's going to go, because as they build these data centers, they can start with one unit, and as they need more, they can just add like in a chain. Yes. So with Verdera, where do you guys see yourself fitting in this new role?
Well, Verdera has 400 square miles of checkerboard lands and 4 of the highest grade ISR projects in the United States, with about 88 million pounds of known and historic resources, all in New Mexico. And New Mexico is incredibly imperative to the development of domestic nuclear energy in the United States. There's more resources in New Mexico than every other state. And Verdera came about, these assets were in Encore Energy, EU, and Encore is a production story. It's a production company. They're producing in Texas at 2 plants, and they just didn't have the focus to advance these very developed projects. And so they chose to spin them out into Verdera. It was 50 million shares acquired by Encore through the transaction. And those shares, 35 million of them, will be distributed to the Encore shareholders. Oh. So Encore will stay in for about 14% of the company. We're just in the midst of the final stages of our listing and our qualifying transaction financing of $20 million. And we expect in about 3 weeks that we would be listed and trading.
Yeah. And it just, we're seeing, we have all the politics behind us. We have everything. It's just lined up in our favor for this to really go. So the timing couldn't be better. And the opportunities, of course, abound in a major way. I think also what you guys have, from what I understand, talking with Bill, that you have all the data from New Mexico, the best of the best, right? And we know how valuable that is when you're trying to do what you're trying to do. It helps so much, paves the way.
Yes. So Bill Sheriff, my husband, is also the executive chair of Encore, an advisor to Verdera. And as you know, Bill has a history of gathering data, Union Carbide, Ranchers, Getty Oil. So he found the Kerr-McGee database. And Kerr-McGee was an oil and gas company that worked all across New Mexico in all stages of development and production. And just picked it up last week. So with that, we combined that with the URI database that we acquired in the transaction. And we have the majority of all the data across New Mexico, not just our own projects, but state to state.
Right.
And this in the U.S. is very different than Canada, where all the data is public. So this is all privately held and proprietary. So it gives a huge advantage to Verdera.
A treasure trove of information.
It was fun. They went up to Wyoming. They picked it up, and it's a bit of treasure seeking, right?
Right. Absolutely. Well, with everything that's happening, it's just like it's going to be an amazing moment for investors to profit from this major bull market. What is the when does the stock trade? When will it start to trade?
Yeah, we just received our conditional listing letter this week, and everything looks good. We're wrapping up the financing, so that should wrap up about 2 to 3 weeks, and then we'll be trading. And we've reserved a symbol. It's going to trade. We're doing an RTO at the same time.
Okay.
So the symbol that we've reserved is it's on the TSX-V. The symbol is V.
Oh, wow.
Nice and simple.
Oh, we love that. So where do you think it'll start trading at price-wise?
Yeah, we're doing it's a subscription receipt at $1. So we'll come out with $27 million in the bank, and we'll have a market cap based on that of about 109 million shares.
100. Okay, perfect. All right. Well, anything else you want to cover? We're just anxiously awaiting to get started, and I would tell investors that this is as good as it gets.
Yeah, I'd like to say that people should take a good look at our projects.
Yeah.
New Mexico, the resources are huge there. So they're very different than the ISR projects in Texas and Wyoming. They're more sinuous, kind of spaghetti-like, but they're big and thick in New Mexico. And that becomes very important to the domestic energy supply for the United States. It's a vital part. We're doing a lot of community engagement in New Mexico. I started about 1.5 years ago with another company that has the Grants Energy Project, and they're well down the road in their permitting and their engagement. And we just see a shift in the thinking and the rationale. People know they need more power.
Oh, absolutely. And why don't we explain, because there's going to be new investors looking at us, the difference between conventional mining and in situ, just so we better cover that.
Yeah, that's a great question. Conventional mining, you have open pits, you have tailings, you have ore trucks moving, you have a mill. With in situ recovery, which we call ISR, and tend to overuse acronyms if people don't know them, is well field technology. So uranium is in a contaminated aquifer underground, has to be below a water table and isolated. Government deems it so. And you use extraction and production wells in order to extract the uranium. You add oxygenated water. Uranium likes to be liquid, and you pump it out and you take it to a central processing plant, either a remote or adjacent. And it's kind of like a water treatment facility.
Yes, you're flushing through the system.
Yeah, you're just taking out the uranium. Turns it into yellow cake about 72 hours later, and it goes off to the conversion facility.
Yeah.
So it's very environmentally responsible. It is reclaimable. When you've finished, you turn off the oxygen and you just flush the water out. It returns back to its original use category.
Yeah, and we're permitted to do all this, right?
We are. We will be going through the permitting process. The projects are quite advanced. It's not an exploration initiative. It's more of a going through baseline and permitting process. We have Mobil Oil did do testing on one of our sections back in the 70s, and it was amenable to ISR. Yeah, and they were able to return the test to the original use category. Yeah. So all very important.
Yeah, and with what government is going to be helping us every which way, that they're going to be behind us full blown, right? So huge support for domestic mineral extraction, conversion, enrichment. That's where we also need a lot of government support, and it's there. And it's there. That's what I'm saying. So looks like clear sailing ahead, Janet. It's exciting times. We wish you the best of luck. Thank you.